Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome to today's webinar on the Afrinvest Halal Fund. Basically, it's a step-by-step guide to building wealth the ethical way. My name is Muiba, and I am the moderator for today. It's wonderful to see such a diverse audience joining us from different locations to explore the principles, opportunities, and growth of halal investing. Over the session, we have our panelists who would guide us through the fundamentals of ethical finance through the Afrinvest Halal Fund. I'm talking in the person of Kabir Ibrahim, our manager from Afrinvest Kano, and Hassan Orekoya, our fund analyst. We would go over what the Afrinvest Halal Fund is all about, the features of the Afrinvest Halal Fund, benefits of the Afrinvest Halal Fund. The goal of investing is to gain something, return in that sense. So, of course, we'll be talking about the benefits of the Halal Fund and essentially how to subscribe to the Halal Fund. On this note, I'll be handing over to Hassan Orekoya to take us through today's webinar.
All right. Good afternoon. Thank you, Moibat. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hassan, and as already said by the moderator, I'll be taking us through today's webinar where we discuss about the Afrinvest Halal Fund, the step-by-step way to building wealth the ethical way. So the Afrinvest Halal Fund is an open-ended unit scheme where investment is based on the Sharia compliant instruments. And the fund was approved by the Securities and Exchange Commission and managed by Afrinvest Asset Management Limited. So the fund adheres strictly to investing principles under the supervision of the Sharia Advisory Council, and all the funds all the investment in the funds are made based on the guidance of the Sharia advisor and in accordance with Section 113 and 114 of the Investment and Security Act of 2005. Onto the features of the fund. The Afrinvest Halal Fund is a well-diversified portfolio that comprises different Sharia-compliant assets, such as the fixed income, Sharia-compliant equities, and other Sharia-compliant instruments. And the minimum units an investor can subscribe in the fund is 100 units, with an initial value of 100 naira, which is subject to price increase as the valuation on the fund has already started. So the primary objective of the fund is to generate income for investors. And the fund structure based on the asset allocation is that the fund is structured in a way where 70% to 100% of the fund is structured to fixed income instruments, while 0 to 30% of the fund is allocated to equities instrument of Sharia compliant quoted stocks on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, while 0 to 25% of the fund will be allocated to other Sharia compliant investments, and 0 to 5% of the fund will be allocated to non-interest cash instrument, which means that the fund will be held on cash in a non-interest earning bank account. So to the fund performance, is benchmarked on the 10-year federal government Sukuk bond, while the fund has a 90 days lock-in period for the investors. This means that investors in the Afrinvest Halal Fund has a lock-in period of 3 months, whereas the fund is an open-ended, which means redemption can be done at any time. But in the case of early redemption, a 1.5% charge is applicable on the income earned so far on the fund rather. So moving to other things to note about the fund is the asset classes that the fund will be invested in. So talking about the fixed income, which is Sukuk, it is a type of fixed income instrument that is similar to the conventional bond that we all know about. But instead of earning a fixed interest in the fund, the holders of the fund have a share in the assets and periodic profit earned on the investment. So example of the fixed income instrument that the fund is going to be used on are the federal government Sukuk bond, the state government Sukuk bond, or any other corporate entity Sukuk bond. Asset classes that the fund will be invested into are Sharia compliant stocks of any company in the Nigerian Stock Exchange, whereby their activities based on the services they render and the type of goods and services they provide is in accordance with the Sharia principles. Example of such equities are that of Okumu Oil PLC, Boas Food Cement, and Dangote Cement PLC. So on to the other Sharia compliance contract note that the fund is investing into that of Ijara, which is a lease-based contract, Mudaroba, which is an equity-based investment, and the Musharaka, which is a joint venture and partnership structure contract notes. And we also have the Wakala, which is similar to that of Mudaroba. And in that case, the Wakala allows a fixed income generation by the managers on the fund. So onto the permissible and the prohibited investment that investment vehicle the fund can be used for. So in this slide now we talk about the exclusive instrument that the fund can be invested into. So the fund is prohibited for investing into any company that into tobacco, pork, alcohol, or even a bank account with an interest services. And the Halal fund is governed by the Sharia Advisory Board. So onto the benefits of investing in the Halal fund. The Halal fund promises a more flexible investment. So flexibility in the sense that it is easy for an investor to subscribe to the fund and also redeem. So the flexibility of redemption and also what subscribing to the fund and professionalism too. The fund is managed by a well-experienced fund manager that the core values or the focus is to maximize profit and return for the investors in the fund. And also the conveniences. The Halal fund is a convenient one for everyone, whereby with at little as 100 units, you can participate in the Afrinvest Halal fund. And the Halal fund also promises a well-diversified portfolio, whereby the portfolio entails investment into fixed income instruments, equities instruments, and other Sharia compliance instruments. And there's a confidence in it that investment in the Halal fund is managed by different parties of professionals, like the Sharia compliance advisors, who looks at the compliance of the fund managers to the fund. And also we have the custodian and the trustees. And the fund also promises to generate income because the fund will be invested into a moderate risk asset that generates income for the unit holders. So now we talk about the professional parties to the fund. We have the fund manager, which is the Afrinvest Asset Management Limited, and we have the Sharia advisors, the custodian, the trustees, and the independent member. So now, how to invest in the Halal fund? Making use of the link that will be shared in the comment section shortly by the moderator, you can easily access the link and make your subscription to the fund. So with as little as 100 units, you can participate in the fund. So with this now, I'll be handing over the session to the moderator. This brings me to the end of my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Hassan. Thank you all for staying with us up until now. So I am sure that, there will be questions, and with the frequently asked questions that we've gathered so far. So we've created a list of these frequently asked questions, and we'll be taking us through them with sufficient answers. That doesn't take out the fact that there might be other questions that are different from the list that we've created. So the floor is open for that once this session is done with. Thank you. So I'll be calling on Kabir Ibrahim to walk us through this part. Kabir? Kabir, please confirm you can hear us.
Thank you, Muibat. Thank you. I can hear you perfectly. Thank you, Hassan. As mentioned by my colleagues, we have these curated questions. We feel you might have them at the back of your mind, starting with what we call what is Afrinvest Halal Fund. This is an open-ended unit trust scheme that is Sharia compliant and fully approved by Securities and Exchange Commission, and it adheres strictly to Islamic principles and is supervised by Sharia Advisory Council. And what does this fund invest in? This fund invests in sukuk, majorly federal government, state government, and corporate. And then also invest in Sharia compliant equities, shares that are quoted on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And then it also invests in other Islamic financial instruments like the Wakala, Mudaraba, Ijara, as mentioned by my colleague Hassan. Then a percentage is kept in cash in a non-interest bearing accounts to allow for redemption and liquidity. Then what is the minimum investment amount? 100 units is the minimum someone can buy, and additional investments depend on the prevailing market price. Then how many units can I buy with the minimum investment. At inception, the price, when the Halal Fund was launched, the price was 100 Naira, but currently is trading around 100.2 Kobo. What that means is if you are buying 100 units, you need to put in 10,200 Naira before you'll be able to buy 100 units. And then what is the projected return on the investment? Being the fact that this is a benchmark against federal government sukuk, it is expected to give an average of 19% return per annum, but this may vary based on market performance. So what is the minimum holding period? There is a 90-day lock-in period, early redemption. Before this period, attract a 1.5 early exit charge. That is, if you are withdrawing before the 90-day lock-in period, you are going to be charged 1.5% on your on the income earned, not on the principal. Then how liquid is this? Is my investment? I know a lot of you will be asking questions. How liquid is my investment? You can redeem your unit on any business day after the 90-day holding period. Payment is being processed within 5 days using the applicable bid price. What are the key benefits? These are the key benefits. One is Sharia compliance. 2, income generation. It generates income for you. 3, there's flexibility, free entry and exit. And then diversification to mitigate against risk. The fund is invested across multiple compliant, Sharia compliant assets. Then there is also professional management in the fund. What is the risk level? The fund is considered a moderate risk, as most assets are invested in a stable instrument like the federal government or corporate sukuk. Could I lose my money in the fund? This depends on the performance on the fund. As we mentioned, the fund is benchmarked against federal government sukuk for 10 years, expected to give a return of 19%, and net asset value can go up or down based on market performance. All right, who are the professional parties involved in managing this fund? We have the fund manager, that is Afrinvest Asset Management. We have trustee, that's the United Capital trustee. We have a custodian, that's Zenith Bank PLC. The custodian is for safekeeping, to let you know. Registrars are the mainstream registrars, and we have our auditor at Pedabo. Then how can I invest? All you need to do is complete the subscription form, make payment to Zenith Bank account with the account number below, as shown on the screen, and then narration, you write your name, investment in the Halal fund, send your completed form and payment evidence to AML. Is this fund suitable for non-Muslim investors? Yes, it is, because the target audience is generally all classes of investors, from retail, Muslims and non-Muslims alike. Then how do I track the performance of my investment? Unit holders will be receiving monthly electronic investment statement, and in case where you are unable to get it, you can also reach out to your relationship manager or email aml@afrinvest.com for performance updates. So what are the charges applied to the fund? Management fee and trustee fees are deducted from the fund's assets, and details are in the prospectus. Then 1.5% charges only applies when someone is withdrawing before the 90-day holding period. Then how is income or profit distributed? Income generated is distributed semi-annually, and it can be paid into your account, or it can be reinvested to purchase more units in the fund based on preference. Can I top up my investment after the initial subscription? Sure, you can top up your investment, since it is an open-ended investment unit trust scheme, and you can make additional investment at any time using the prevailing unit price. Simply follow the same payment procedure and send your payment evidence to aml@afrinvest.com. So what sectors or industries are excluded from the fund? As mentioned earlier, fund does not invest in companies involved in alcohol, gambling, weapons, pork business, interest-based services, tobacco, and adult content. And what rating does Afrinvest Asset Management have? This is to give you further assurance that this rating reflects strong investment and risk management capabilities of Afrinvest Securities because it has a GCR BBBB rating and then long-term upper medium rating short-term by both Augusto and GCR rating. Thank you so much. Muyibat, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Kabir. Thank you, everyone, for staying with us. I know we've gone through frequently asked questions. However, if there are questions that we've not addressed, you can please let us know through the chat box. Thank you. So we have a question. The person is asking, can the redemption period be flexible in the case of emergency? Kabir, kindly address that.
Yes, yes, it's surely flexible. That is why we mentioned that if you are redeeming before the 90-day lock-in period, we are going to charge you 1.5% on the return on the profit earned by the fund. So it's flexible. You can easily withdraw, but with a charge, we are going to charge you a 1.5% fee on what your fund or your investment has generated over that period that you are withdrawing due to an emergency.
All right. We thank you very much for that. We also have another question asking what the minimum deposit is. I know you touched on it, but just, to clarify, kindly help us address it again. Thank you.
All right. The minimum is we pegged it at 100 units, and at inception, as I mentioned, the price of a unit is 100 naira. So if you're buying at inception, the minimum is 10,000 naira. But currently, since the launch, it's trading at 100.2 kobo. So if you are buying 100 units, you need to put in 10,020 naira before you'll be able to get that 100 units. So that is the minimum, and this can go continuously as required.
Thank you very much, Kabir. So there are requests to actually get the slides. Definitely after the session, through your emails registered with this Zoom, we would be sharing the slides, for reference or clarifications that you may need further. Thank you, everyone, for joining today's session. We appreciate your time. And we hope to see you again sometime soon. Bye for now.